Go ahead and hit record. Perfect. Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a very special guest. Every time I talk to this woman, I feel like I could probably talk to her for another hour or two. I feel like we're always catching in on conversations, but this wonderful woman has been in real estate and has been very strong for many years. She has a lot to share. I'm really excited to pick her brain. ALC member, luxury specialist, all of the above. Janet Darrow. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Janet. So that was kind of like a mini intro, but why don't you
That was
tell
a
me?
very nice intro. Thank you.
Sometimes I feel like I could go on the intro for like 30 minutes of just giving all your guys' accolades, but why don't you share a little bit more with the group, like about yourself? Who are you? What's your relationship with real estate?
Yeah, kind of came late to the game in real estate. I was in my 50s. Had just moved back from living abroad. I'd lived in Vienna for 11 years. I'd lived in Dubai for 2 years. Moved back to the States, was heading out to Dublin, which was when my husband and I split. So then I ended up staying in California and I was in my 50s and, oh, I got to get a job. What am I going to do? Oh, I like houses and people, so real estate. So that's kind of how I ended up in real estate. How I ended up in Keller Williams was when I lived in Vienna, I was good friends with Bill and Elizabeth Soderoff, who he's the head of KW Worldwide. And he's saying, "Oh, if you're thinking of going into real estate, you need to join KW." So, okay. So that's how I ended up at KW. And then I ended up here, which I just absolutely love our office. I had started at Pacific Estates and then migrated over here after a couple of years. And this is home. You have to drag me out kicking and screaming.
Well, we love you. I'm not dragging you anywhere. I'm
Okay.
dragging you more in, I think is the important part. You've had such an interesting journey, like internationally. Do you want to
Hmm.
talk about that? Like, talk more about
Sure.
that because I think that one of the things that, coincides with your story is just how you're weaving that into your business, something you're really passionate about. So
Right.
tell us more
Well, I
about that.
mean, I'd been out of California for long enough that my database was actually stronger internationally than it was in the US. So, I it was kind of a natural fit, when I saw, oh, they have international real estate. How do I do that? And I know there's a lot of different ways. I mean, probably the best thing is if you have a tie to a particular country, you have family in a country, it's very easy to become an expert in one area.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a more broad sense. So I'm part of, I don't farm a neighborhood, I farm groups.
Mm,
So my group is called FACO. It's also a subset is FAUSA. FACO is the God, Federation of American Women's Clubs Overseas. It's a very international group. It's not just Americans who belong to it. And I had got very involved with that group when I lived abroad. And then when I moved back to the States, I joined FAUSA, which is the FACO Alumni USA, which is, kind of an alumni association. And because I was on the board, because I know people in all these different countries, and then when I joined FAUSA, it kind of spread my tentacles in the US as well. I just kind of farmed, and the way I farmed was we do a lot of charitable activities, and philanthropy is really near and dear to my heart. So I just said, okay, for our target program, which is this joint program between the FACO Foundation, FACO, and FAUSA. It's like a long-term project that we do every 3 years, covering a different topic, environment, or human rights, whatever. And I thought, okay, fine. I will donate 5% of my commission to you know, to the FACO Target program at the end of, a transaction. And, I kind of taught people my business by advertising about this benefit. So, and I said, I don't have to be in the country. Do you want me to give you a safe reference to somebody in your country, a safe reference to somebody in your state? You're living abroad, but you want to buy property in the US. Do you want somebody who's confident in dealing with people who live abroad? Because I know somebody was getting some really wrong advice that they couldn't get a loan because they were living overseas, but they are American, and yeah, they were able to get a loan. So, it would just help to have me kind of mediate some of these things. And some of my best customers and my biggest transactions have been through the international community.
You have taken something and I want to like put a pin on it. And I had to write it down because when you said, I don't farm neighborhoods, I farm groups.
Hmm.
And I think that that's a big piece that a lot of people miss in an opportunity that they're passionate about, right?
Hmm.
Because then you're being able to weave something that fills your heart, that fills your true passions, and then matches then some opportunities for real estate transactions, right? So, Janet, like, talk to me more about that. Like, how do you build connections with these people when you're, say, like, farming a group? Like, tell me more about that.
Well, I mean, part of it is showing up where I'm able to show up. They do have conferences. FACO has a conference every 2 years and an interim meeting. I've started skipping the interim meetings just because they're short and it's a little harder. It's such a whirlwind on those. But it's nice because I get to get my international travel in, and I'll usually build okay, going to Heidelberg next March. So I'm going to actually take the time to go back to Vienna when I'm, in Heidelberg. So it's killing two birds with one stone. Um, but yeah, showing up for the conferences, I sponsor the conferences so that I'll have an opportunity to talk and to have a place at the table at the meet to meet, face to face meetings. Uh, yeah, I advertise. They both have magazines, and I advertise in both the FAUSA and the FACO magazines.
Mhm.
And then I'm active on the Facebook pages too.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's like the whole circle approach. And I think that's really key, right? It's not just about raising your hand and saying, hey, organization, I'm joining you or I'm going to participate, but it's like, hey, how can I make myself and my business visible, right?
Mhm.
By, like you said, considering a sponsorship, taking on a more active communicative role, right? And then you do a great job with like following up and staying in communication with a lot of the members, right? So talk to
Yeah.
me more about those touches. Like, what are you doing when you're connecting with them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is through, so FAUSA and FACO have speaker series. For example, I've got my cousin Mary, who was, there's a whole large story. She ended up working for the Department of Agriculture and started 4-H clubs in Iraq.
Mm,
And she had one of the most successful programs in Iraq, that we did some good rather than some harm while we were there. And so she's going to be on our speaker series. I stay active, you know, just posting. FAUSA's got a getaway to Montreal, and so I've taken the helm and have planned the after post-conference trip to Quebec. So it's just, touches like that. And then, calling people, doing the normal Facebook touches and things like that. Just I don't think I'm doing anything extraordinary or extra so much. It's just staying involved, keeping my face in front of people by being an active, so that they know that I'm going to treat, their referrals in the same way that I treat, and then that I treat people in the way I show up for the group, and also, now I have references because I've done a good job, and so I make sure that they talk me up when they can. So.
Janet, you say like, "Oh, I don't think I'm doing anything extraordinary," but like, I just want to pause for a second and give you credit. Like, when you're all in on an organization, like just even a call or a personal touch is further than what most people are doing right now when they're spending their time, right? Like, we're consulting people, like, let's say you're in the PTA, for example, and they show up and they go to a meeting and then they leave, versus building friends, reaching out on Facebook, asking for coffee, sponsoring something for the PTA. So I think
Yeah.
it's like you just have to, from what I'm learning from you sharing your model, it sounds like you just really need to go so much deeper than just surface level. And if you're doing it anyways and it's something you're passionate about, you're able to kind of like, tick off two boxes with this, right? The lead gen, and
Mhm.
then also, of course, feeling something that makes you happy. You're one of my favorite and best networking people. Whenever we go to like family reunion or mega camp, Janet like shows up at a super high level. Why don't you talk to me more about like generally networking? Like, what are some things that you have, some tips maybe that you have of like making that time valuable as well?
Yeah. Okay. When I go to the conferences, say family reunion, uh, I go with a stack of postcards that I have that is a Long Beach postcard. I have like a little stick-on with my contact details on the postcard. And then I'm not always successful in this. I try to write down, like jot a quick note at the end of each day, before I forget who people are and say, hi, it was so nice meeting you. I met you on the plane, blah, blah, blah. Or I met you at the da, da, da. Wasn't that great? Hope you got good things out of it. I'm your contact for Long Beach. And, so I do that. I also, much as I love hanging out with our group, I don't constantly hang out with our group because much as I love all of you, it's not I'm not furthering my business by hanging out with you. I want to meet the people who might refer to me. So I room with a wonderful lady, Roberta, and she puts me to the shade. She is so organized about planning all these little excursions and all these little group meetups. And I tag along for some of them. And then I have my own, international. I didn't do so much with the international this year. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's worthwhile to kind of plan ahead and kind of approach the conferences in a strategic way, decide what you want to get out of it. If you're looking for people to fill a gap in a certain area, then go straight, ahead of time, on the Facebook page, say, I'm really looking to meet up with people from this area and plan a few coffees and stuff. I mean, it's it just pays to be a little bit strategic about that. And I still have plenty of time to see all of you and to sit with you guys, but yeah, it's important for me to use that because it's time and money and to use that time as wisely as possible.
It's brilliant where you just said, reaching out on maybe say Facebook or going on one of the chat groups and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for someone who specializes in this area," or "Hey, I'm
Mhm.
looking for someone who specializes in this type of property. I'd love to meet up." That's being smart before you even get your feet on the ground, right? Like
Right.
family reunion and mega camp, using them as an example, you've got 3, maybe 4 days, you're juggling classes and events and everything else. But to think about these things ahead of time makes it so when you're there, I've seen people just meeting after meeting because they're just building their connections so much deeper. And that's a smart investment because
Yeah.
those conventions are investments.
Well, one of the things I do too is like if I record the meeting, and I've talked to some of the people sitting around me, I'll often send them, the transcript of the recording. So
That's
there's
so
things
smart.
you can do, that puts you in a servant's light that you're helping them out. So, they're already looking at you in a positive way.
hmm And those are the types of people that people find that connection with to make referrals, right?
Hmm.
Like Oh, Janet, I met her. That was that Gallup family reunion. She was organized, she took notes, and then she sent it to me afterwards. Like those
Right.
are the things that imprint on your mind that remember somebody when it comes to a referral, not just like, hey, I'd love your referral, but it's making an impact to make sure that that comes in return, you know?
Yeah, it's trying to find ways of being memorable. And that's like the postcard is a way of, okay, just kind of solidifies. Now, what I want to do that I haven't done, but I'm going to, I've kind of made a mental note to do this in the future, is what you should be doing with the agents you meet at these events is keeping in contact with them on a regular basis, whether it's through postcards, note cards, or calling them on a regular basis. And particularly before you go to one of these events again. Hi, how's your business going? This is Janet from Long Beach. You might remember the blah, blah. And yeah, I'm looking forward to family reunion. Are you going this year? Oh, you moved to EXP? Just kidding. Just kidding. We keep in contact with everyone. Um, but yeah, or I guess I should say Compass right now. It's just
You
like,
know, Janet, it makes me think of I met this gal at last, it was family reunion where we were just at, and you know how you meet people just in and out and be, oh hey, nice to meet you, and then they pass on. Well, she met me and said, hi, my name is Hallie, or whatever her name was, and said, hi, my name is Hallie. I work the Milwaukee area. I'd love to stay in contact with you. Let's take a quick picture. So she took a picture. She said, what's your cell phone number? I'm going to text it to you. She's texting it to me. And then during that time, she's like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, when is your birthday? You look like a Sagittarius or whatever. And I said, no, actually, I'm a Taurus. And I said, oh, yeah, my birthday's in April and yada, yada, yada. So we're just texting back and forth. Let this be known. She texted me right the day before my birthday and said, it was so wonderful getting to meet you. Just a reminder,
right.
love to have your referrals. So it's just like you do
That's
things
the
all
next
the time.
level.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, and that's why I'm like using that as an example of like, I know that you build relationships that deep as well. And I think that's where the money is. Like that's what so many people are missing. And you do such a good job at, nurturing that relationship, I think. Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. One of the other things that I know you for sure is helping luxury properties and luxury sellers. So let's talk a little bit about that market right now. How is that market going right now? Like, what are we hearing and feeling? What are our more, luxury people doing right now? What can we learn from this?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any. I had some that are like borderline luxury. I mean, as far as the price points go, so I can't speak to it fully right at the moment. But yeah, I actually luxury seems to be doing better in a lot of what I'm seeing statistically is luxury is not staying on the market as long as a lot of other categories. So yeah, I think there's a group of people who are they're looking to hunker down and be in something that they like. And there's a group of people that it's time for them to sell. And they've been probably reluctant to put it on the market, but
Mm.
now's the time. There's, pardon me, there's also, the baby boomers and silent generation are aging out of properties so much now. And that's going to be a lot of the luxury properties coming up.
How is that, conversation going between generations? So like where you're saying like, hey, people are moving, or what is that? What are you seeing right now in those conversations, or what are you hearing?
Don't know that I've like broken it down by generation exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
But like
I
people moving out, where are they going? What's
oh
happening? Are
yeah,
they taking
well,
over the properties? Are they selling the
Nash.
luxury
Let's see.
properties?
I've had people go. They're going to Nashville, South Carolina, Texas, Texas, Texas. Um, haven't seen anybody in Idaho. Nevada, Arizona. Those are the ones that I've seen.
And they're going and moving. And then are the next generation, are they buying the properties or like really just acquiring them? Or are they, and then moving mom and dad out? Or are they,
Well,
selling them and then buying something else? What are we seeing there?
with Prop 19, that kind of
Mm.
changed. a lot of people who would have stayed in the property because of the time brackets for Prop 19 and getting somebody moved in. And,
Hmm.
families aren't always that able to make a decision that quickly after somebody passes away. So I think you see a lot more, maybe they'll rent, the family will rent the house for a while and then eventually they'll choose to sell it because the grandson or whoever is not able to take on the well, what the mortgage would be because they have to be fair to the entire family or and what the property taxes would be at the higher rate.
Hmm.
So I think you see a lot of times they hold on to it for a year or so and then they just make the decision to sell. So I think probably a really good area would be, leases with elderly, because I'm kind of in that category with seniors,
Seniors.
baby
You
boomers.
know, I think that you bring up a lot of family dynamic, and we know that those things can be complicated and hard
Hmm.
to manage in any transaction, whether
Yeah.
it's luxury or anything. You can have, mom and dad moving out, you can have divorce. There's a lot of stuff that we help with. What is it that you do to kind of help those situations, or do you have any strategies or tactics to help diffuse or to get through difficult conversation?
I really have not been in the middle of anything that's been too difficult. So I can't say I have a strategy. I just try to be a calm voice of reason.
That's important.
You almost have to be a mediator,
Mm.
uh, as far as, but I honestly I haven't had any, I really haven't had anything that was contentious. I
That's
mean,
good.
I know of one coming up. That is a friend from high school. And when her father passed away, he has several properties.
Oh, yeah.
Like the one brother's crazy and it's all about him. And, you know, you get one, I get five. You get
Mhm.
one, I get five. So and they have equal shares of the estate. They're all equal as far as being trustees.
Mhm.
But he's derailing, he's taking everything to court and, squandering down the inheritance. So, um, that one's not really my business yet.
Hmm. I think it's about like that staying calm, right? That you
Mhm.
do really well, and then making sure that you're there to be the conduit, right? In any of those situations, whether it's been difficult or even smooth. I think that's one of the values that we have as agents is that
Mhm.
we get to be just conduits of information, right? Like lots of times we're providing it, but many times we're just sharing it with somebody. So even how we share it and the words that we use are so key because we're setting the tone for what's going to happen next in the transaction, like in the general flow of things, right? Yeah. So we only have a couple minutes left. Janet, is there anything in specific that you want to talk about today or share with people? Any new fun stuff you're learning, technologies?
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning every day right now. I mean, I feel like it's information overload. It's exhausting. Yeah, I mean, just things that are going on. I try to stay abreast of things that are happening. I belong to several different groups. I'm constantly monitoring news. I listen and get depressed by the news all the time, just like everybody else. And try and stay on top of what's happening in the world in general. And in the world of real estate, I mean, I'm finding this Compass thing really interesting, and that there's been such a shift this year to off-market properties. My
Mm.
first two properties this year were off-market. I have, a friend in the office who was saying that she's working with a buyer who only wants to buy off-market. Um, so it's being presented in such a way as to be, this is the best thing for you. I don't know that it is the best thing. But it's going to be something I think that's going to come up in everybody's conversations.
Yeah.
I think it's something people need to have clear talking points on if somebody brings it up, or maybe even you bring it up to your clients. There's a lot of buzz about this right now, and here's some of the pros and here's some of the cons. We do have ways of looking for things off market, and we can certainly explore that. Um, don't think that only Compass has the keys to that, because they don't. Make sure that you're able to talk about some of the things that you bring to the table. And you guys are in KW is providing a lot of new tools. And I was just on a referral call. They're interviewing a few agents and just talking about some of the new things that are coming up. Making sure that I know my strategies and am able to clearly articulate my strategies to the buyers and sellers and to the other agents who might refer me. I know my friends and my past clients will refer me because I did a good job for them. Other agents, they're going to refer first because they like me, but
Mm-hmm.
they really need to know what my business is,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm about and what I'm going to bring to their clients so that their clients are taken care of. And with referrals, because my business is largely built on referrals, I think it's really important to articulate what you're doing with the client that they have entrusted you to. So they don't just send a referral in and then hope that they get paid down the road. Check in with them regularly, even if nothing's happening. I got a referral last week, and the guy hasn't called me, and they haven't given me his phone number. I know he's calling from Las Vegas and he hasn't called yet. So, and that's hard because you like to answer those unknown number calls exactly. Um, so I'm going to communicate with that guy
Mm-hmm.
because it's been about a week, and the agent that referred me, and I'm going to let him know. Blah, blah, blah. So maybe, to be proactive, I'll do a CMA and I can send it to you that you can forward with a bit of my information so that he's a little more comfortable to make the call. It's
That's
just like that.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant, Janet. There's so many good things that you just like laid in there. Real quick, I want to rewind and then just kind of pinpoint those out. One, your off-market strategy, I absolutely agree with you. As off markets become more topic of conversation with company acquisitions, mergers, etc., as that shifts and change, if we don't talk about it and we don't bring it up, people are going to think that we can't do it, right?
Exactly.
Like because that's like the burden of knowledge. Like we know we can, but the consumer might not know. And if your
Right.
competition you're going up against is going to bring up that they have that option, they might not assume that you have that option. So I think it's brilliant. We all need to have a good off-market strategy, an actual strategy. Not just
Yeah.
like, hey, sure, I'll take the listing and then I'm going to just figure out how to sell it in a way
Right.
that's in compliant with the MLS rules. Like, we need to have an actual strategy. And that's brilliant where you say it's like compare the two. Hey, here we have two choices. Here is what an on-market strategy look like. Here what an off-market strategy look like. And the consumers are going to need that to make an informed decision moving forward. So I think that is brilliant. I'm like wrote it down. There's a class in there. I'm like, we need to talk about this and again have a really good off-market strategy. And then that referral, Janet, it's like I don't know how many times as an office we get someone that says, "Oh, hey, I had a referral that closed a month ago and I haven't got paid yet." And it's like, if it's like follow up with those people, follow up
Yeah.
either way, either way, follow up with them. And then when someone gives you that referral, that's a brilliant strategy if they haven't called or reached out to you to then be a little proactive back to the person who referred you by running a CMA. Like that's brilliant and saying like, hey, this might help, maybe they'll feel more comfortable. So then they're knowing that, hey, you're competent. Hey, here's some information. Like that's brilliant. I love that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think communication is key.
Yep.
And just if somebody is nice enough to give you a referral, yeah, I mean, you're nice enough to give them 25%, yes, but they want to know, you want to get more referrals. And I've got this one gal from another agency, and because I took really good care of her niece, she loves me, and she keeps referring. But I check back with her too. I'm always, doing something for her too, and making sure that the people who she referred me to get back to her and and just please let her know. Yeah, I'll tell the people who referred that. I'm glad you're happy. Could you let Janae know that you're really happy because I'm so grateful for her. So just trying to get everybody talking in the conversation. So,
Oh, yeah, good communication. It's like can't over communicate, I think.
right, exactly.
Well, anyways, Janet, like I said, I could talk to you for a long time, but it's 30 minutes right now. So thank you so much for
That went
joining
fast.
me.
Yay.
I know it goes fast and spending your Friday with us. You guys, Janet is out of the coastal office. I know she loves to connect. She has a great YouTube channel and social media as well. So if you haven't already, go on, friend, like, follow her, share her videos because they're quite a hoot if you have a good laugh.
And if you're not my friend on Facebook, also go to my Janet Darrow Realtor or Janet Darrow Homes, Janet Darrow Realtor Homes, something. Just if you want to know anything about Long Beach, it has a lot of good Long Beach information. It's my business Facebook page as well.
That's
So,
Janet, thank you so much.
hey.
Everyone, go out, have a good rest of your Friday. Let's make sure we're connecting with our clients, communicating well, and we're getting that energy for the weekend because there's a lot of business right now happening. We just need to go out and then make sure that we're bringing it into our world. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
Janet.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Thank you
Allie.
so
Janet.
much.
Thank you, Janet.